This little bird may look delicate, but every second it is hammering its beak into solid wood at incredible speed and force. A woodpecker can strike a tree up to 20 times per second. To a human, that kind of impact would almost certainly cause a severe concussion or brain injury. So how does a woodpecker survive thousands of powerful blows every single day while creating a nest cavity? The answer is one of nature's most fascinating engineering miracles. The cardinal woodpecker is not simply pecking randomly. It is excavating a future home, a nesting chamber hidden safely inside the tree. But while building that nest, the bird's head experiences enormous deceleration forces. Scientists estimate that the impact can exceed 1,000 Gs. For comparison, humans can suffer serious brain damage at only a tiny fraction of that force. Yet, the woodpecker continues working without injury. Why? Because almost every part of its body is specially designed to absorb shock. First, the beak itself acts like a precision tool. The upper and lower parts of the beak are slightly different in length and flexibility. This helps redirect impact energy away from the brain instead of transmitting it directly inward. The beak is hard enough to drill wood, yet elastic enough to reduce damaging vibration. It behaves almost like a built-in shock absorber. Behind the beak is another remarkable feature, the skull. A woodpecker's skull contains specialized spongy bone structures that cushion impact. These tiny microscopic layers compress slightly during each strike, helping absorb the force. The brain itself also fits very tightly inside the skull. Human brains float inside fluid and can slam against the inside of the skull during sudden impacts. But a woodpecker's brain has very little room to move. That means less internal collision and less chance of injury. The orientation of the brain is also important. A woodpecker's brain is positioned in a way that spreads impact forces more evenly. Instead of long, narrow structures that tear easily during rapid movement, the woodpecker's brain shape reduces stress during impact. Nature has optimized the entire system over millions of years. And then there is perhaps the most famous adaptation of all, the tongue. A woodpecker's tongue is far more than a feeding tool. It is part of an extraordinary support structure called the hyoid apparatus. The tongue actually wraps around the skull inside the head like a safety harness. In some species, it loops behind the skull and even around the eye sockets before attaching near the nostrils. Scientists believe this structure acts almost like a biological seatbelt, helping distribute impact energy around the skull during pecking. Imagine wearing a shock-absorbing helmet built into your own anatomy. That is essentially what the woodpecker has. The muscles of the neck and shoulders also play a huge role. These birds have incredibly strong neck muscles for their size. Every strike is carefully controlled. The head does not wildly slam into the tree. Instead, the movement is precise, aligned, and efficient. The body absorbs and manages the force in a coordinated system involving muscles, tendons, bone, and feather positioning. Even the feet and tail help stabilize the bird while drilling. But here is something even more impressive. Woodpeckers do not simply survive their impacts. They repeat them thousands of times every day. They drill for food. They communicate through drumming. They defend territory. And during nesting season, like this bird here, they excavate deep cavities for raising chicks. That means the woodpecker's protective system must work continuously and flawlessly. So, while this tiny bird appears to be simply chiseling into wood, you are actually witnessing one of the most advanced impact protection systems found anywhere in the animal kingdom. A living jackhammer, a master carpenter, and an engineering marvel wrapped in feathers. The next time you hear a woodpecker hammering in the forest, remember, every strike is a miracle of design, precision, and survival.